afternoon, students. Today we are going to start with structural organization in animals. So, what is structural organization basically? When a group of similar cells in a multicellular animal, along with intercellular substances, perform a specific function towards a specific goal, we group those cells and call them as tissue. So tissue is basically group of cells. All complex animals consist of four basic types of tissues: epithelial, connective, muscular, and nervous. And when these tissues are organized in specific proportion and pattern to form an organ, we call them as stomach, lung, heart, kidney, different organs that we know of. And therefore, what is organ? It is basically group of tissues. And when two or more organs perform a common function by their physical or chemical interaction, they together form organ system. Which are the organ systems we are aware of? Digestive system, respiratory system, excretory system, cardiovascular system, etc. So therefore, cells, tissues, organs, and organ system split up the work in a way that exhibits division of labor and contribute to the survival of the body as a whole. Therefore, we can say that proper functioning of cells, tissues, organ, and organ system as a whole is very critical for our survival. In this chapter, we find that frog is taken as an exemplary organism to study different organ systems. So frogs, as we learned from our previous chapter, is an amphibian under the phylum Chordata, and they can live both on land and in fresh water. Most common species of frog found in India is Rana tigrina. They do not have constant body temperature, meaning they are cold-blooded or poikilothermous. Frogs can also change colors while they are in grasses and on dry land. For example, in grasses, they will be more like olive green in color, and in dry land, they are mostly straw-colored. They have the ability to change the color to hide from their enemies, which is known as camouflage, and this protective coloration is called mimicry. So let's not get confused. The ability to change the color to hide them from the enemies is known as camouflage, while the event of protective coloring is known as mimicry. During peak summer and winter, they take shelter in deep burrows to protect them from extreme heat and cold. And this summer sleep is known as estivation and winter sleep as hibernation. So again, let's repeat: summer sleep, estivation, and winter sleep, hibernation. Okay. Now let us come to morphology of frog. The skin is smooth and slippery. I don't know whether you have touched a frog ever or not, or sometimes it might have crossed on your feet and all. So you might have felt that the skin is smooth and slippery because of presence of mucus. It is always maintained in moist condition. The color of the dorsal body is olive green with dark irregular spot, and the ventral side of the skin is uniformly pale yellow. So this part is pale yellow and this part is olive green with dark irregular spots. Frog never drinks water. So let's remember this, that frog never drinks water. It absorbs it through the skin. Body of a frog is divisible into head and trunk. Head and trunk. Neck and tail are absent. Pair of nostrils is present above the mouth. Eyes are bulged and covered by nictitating membrane. This is very important. These are the bulged eye. See, this one is the bulged eye. On either side of eyes, a membranous tympanum ear is present. On either side of the eye, a membranous ear tympanum is present. The forelimbs are webbed with 4 digits and the hind limbs are also webbed but with 5 digits which are large and muscular. See this one. These are large muscular digit unlike that of the forelimbs because they help in swimming, walking, leaping and burrowing. Frogs exhibit sexual dimorphism. Male frogs have a sound-producing vocal sac, copulatory pad on the first digit of the forelimb, which are absent in the female frogs. So first let us come to digestive system among the organ systems. Digestive system is composed of what? Alimentary canal and digestive glands. What is alimentary canal? Alimentary canal is short here because frogs are carnivores. Length of intestine is also reduced. The mouth opens into a buccal cavity that leads to the esophagus through the pharynx. Here there is a buccal cavity and mouth opens to this buccal cavity which leads to esophagus. Esophagus is a short tube which opens into the stomach. See, esophagus is coming into the stomach. Continues as the intestine. Continues as the intestine. Rectum and finally opens outside through the, this is the rectum and finally opens outside through the cloaca. So it comes this way to the stomach all the way through the intestine into the rectum and then moves out through the cloaca. Liver secretes bile which is stored in gallbladder. This one is the gallbladder and this one is the liver. Pancreas, the digestive gland, produces pancreatic juice containing digestive enzymes. Food is first captured by the bilobed tongue. HCl and gastric juices secreted from the walls of the stomach first digests the food. The HCl and gastric juices that are secreted here first digests the food. Now this partially digested food called chyme is passed from stomach to the first part of the small intestine, that is the duodenum. The duodenum receives bile from gallbladder and pancreatic juices from the pancreas through a common bile duct. Now this bile emulsifies fat and pancreatic juices digest carbohydrates and proteins. Final digestion takes place in the intestine. The digested food absorbed by the numerous finger-like folds called villi and microvilli in the inner wall of the intestine. Why there is presence of this villi and microvilli in the intestine? To increase the surface area of the intestine. To increase the surface area of the intestine and also to increase the movability of the food. They are also responsible for spreading the food throughout the intestine. Okay, and also they increase the surface area for the absorption of food nutrients. Undigested solid waste then moves into the rectum and passes out through the cloaca. Okay, so now let us go to Respiratory system. This is one of the very important systems, and let us understand how there are two different methods of respiration in frogs. Somehow, skin acts as the aquatic respiratory organ in frog. When the frog is in water, the skin acts as the aquatic respiratory organ, and we call it as cutaneous respiration. Dissolved oxygen in the water is exchanged through the skin by diffusion. And when it is present on the land, the buccal cavity, skin and lungs act as respiratory organs, and we call it as pulmonary respiration. So this is the lungs. These are the pair of lungs. Lungs are a pair of elongated pink colored sac-like structure present in the upper part of the trunk region of the thorax. Air enters through the nostrils, that we already learned. Nostrils are present just above the mouth. Air enters through the nostrils into the buccal cavity and then into the lungs. During estivation and hibernation, gaseous exchange takes place through skin. During estivation and hibernation, gaseous exchange takes place through skin. So when this frog is in water, then also skin acts as the respiratory organ. During estivation and hibernation, skin acts as the respiratory organ, and rest of the times we find the usage of lungs or these sac-like structures. Our next system is excretory system, or for elimination of nitrogenous wastes. It consists of a pair of kidney, ureters, cloaca, and urinary bladder. Compact dark red and bean-like structures situated a little posteriorly in the body cavity on both sides of the vertebral column. So, this is the kidney. These are the two kidneys. Each kidney is composed of structural and functional units, which are those uriniferous tubules and nephrons. So, kidney is formed of structural and functional units. Those are uriniferous tubules and nephrons. There are two ureters. See, these are the ureters. Ureters are basically urinogenital duct in case of male frogs, and these opens in the cloaca. They emerge from the kidneys in the male frogs. In females, the ureters and oviduct open separately in cloaca. Therefore, in female, ureter is not the urinogenital tract. It is only part of the excretory system. But in case of male, ureters are urinogenital. The thin-walled urinary bladder is present ventral to the rectum, which also opens into the cloaca. So this is the urinary bladder, which is ventral to the rectum. Yeah, we can see that this is ventral to the rectum. And see, this is the opening. This is the opening which opens into the cloaca once again. So excretory wastes are carried by blood into the kidney, where it is separate and excreted. Sorry, this sentence will not be there. And excreted through the cloaca. And excreted through the cloaca. This point we already discussed before. No, this oviduct opens separately in cloaca. I think by mistake I've written it once again. So excretory wastes are carried by blood into the kidney, where it is separated and excreted through the cloaca. So this is in brief what is excretory system in frog. Okay. Now let us come to the vascular system, which is a closed system along with lymphatic system. Vascular system is present along with lymphatic system, and here the vascular system is a closed one. It consists of heart, blood, and blood vessels. Vascular system consists of heart, blood vessels, and blood, whereas lymphatic system consists of lymph channels, and lymph nodes. See, this one is the heart. This one is the heart. Muscular structure situated in the upper part of the body cavity, where there are three chambers, two atria and one ventricle. In amphibia, we learned that there are three-chambered heart. In few cases, it is partially four-chambered, but mostly three-chambered heart. And in frog, it is a three-chambered heart, which consists of two atria and one ventricle, covered by a membrane called pericardium. Covered by a membrane called pericardium. Sinus venosus joins the right atrium. It is a triangular structure and receives blood through the vena cava. So what is sinus venosus? It basically joins the right atrium. It is a triangular structure and it receives blood through vena cava. So it joins what to the right atrium? It joins the left atrium to the right atrium. The ventricle opens into a sac-like conus arteriosus on the ventral side of the heart. The ventricle, which is one in number, opens into a sac-like structure called conus arteriosus on the ventral side of the heart. So we shouldn't get confused that ventricle opens to what? It opens to conus arteriosus. Okay. This might be one of the options and you might be thinking, okay, so it is ventricle. How can it open into conus arteriosus? So maybe you will go for some other option. In fact, maybe you can go for this option sinus venosus if it is there in the option instead of this conus arteriosus. So we shouldn't make such mistakes. Okay, we shouldn't make such mistakes. The blood from the heart is carried to all the parts of the bodies by the arteries, and this is known as arterial system. The veins collect blood from different parts of the body to the heart and also form the venous system. They also form the venous system. So we have both arterial system and venous system. There are few special venous connections between liver and intestine, which is known as hepatic portal system, and kidney and lower parts of the body, which is known as renal portal system. So we should give very special attention to these two terms, that there are special venous connection between liver and intestine, which is known as hepatic portal system, and kidney and lower part of the body known as renal portal system. The blood consists of plasma and cells are what? Red blood cells or erythrocytes, white blood cells or leukocytes, and platelets. RBCs are nucleated and red colored pigment called hemoglobin. The lymph is what? Lymph is not like blood. It is different. It lacks few proteins and it completely lacks RBCs. Sorry, this won't be there. The blood carries nutrients, gases and water during the circulation achieved by the pumping action of the muscular heart. So the blood carries nutrients, gases and water during the circulation, which is achieved by the pumping action of this muscular heart. Now there are two small parts, that is the system control, that is the whole system control of frog. It consists of two systems, endocrine system and neural system. Okay, the system control in frog has two systems, neural system and the endocrine system. The chemical coordination among various organs of the body is achieved by hormones. Obviously, we can understand that it is a part of the endocrine system, which is secreted by the endocrine glands. Now, which are the endocrine glands present here? Pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus, pineal body, pancreatic islets, adrenals, and gonads. So what are the endocrine glands? Pituitary, thyroid, parathyroid, thymus, pineal body, pancreatic islets, adrenals, and gonads. The nervous system organized into a central nervous system which has brain and spinal cord. A peripheral nervous system which has cranial and spinal nerves, and an autonomic nervous system which has sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves. So the nervous system is composed of a central nervous system having brain and spinal cord, a peripheral nervous system, cranial and spinal nerves, autonomous nervous system which consists of sympathetic and parasympathetic nerves. There are 10 pairs of cranial nerves arising from the brain. There are 10 pairs of cranial nerves arising from the brain, and brain is enclosed in a bony structure called brain box or cranium. The brain is enclosed in a bony structure called brain box or cranium. The brain is divided into forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. The brain is divided into forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Forebrain consists of what? Olfactory lobes, paired cerebral hemispheres, and unpaired diencephalon. Midbrain consists of pair of optic lobes, and hindbrain consists of cerebellum and medulla oblongata. So forebrain has what? Olfactory lobes, paired cerebral hemispheres, and unpaired diencephalon. Midbrain has pair of optic lobes, and hindbrain has cerebellum and medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata actually passes out through the foramen magnum and continues into the spinal cord enclosed in the vertebral column. So how can we remember forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain? See, first in our body, if we consider from our front, we will find our nose, a protruding nose, okay? And it is a part of our forebrain, olfactory lobes. It is a part of our forebrain. Along with that, we can remember with this olfactory lobe, what was there? There are paired cerebral hemispheres and unpaired diencephalon. But if in an option there is olfactory lobe and some question is related to forebrain, whatever other things are there, you can understand the one in which olfactory lobe is there will be of forebrain. Okay. Now what is midbrain? Just behind our nose are our ears. Are our eyes. Sorry, are our eyes. And this optic lobes are present in our midbrain. Optic lobes are present in our midbrain. And hindbrain, I think we all know that medulla oblongata is in continuous with the spinal cord. So it is towards our back and it is a part of hindbrain. So if you remember these three critical things, olfactory, optic, and medulla oblongata, then I think it would be easier for you to eliminate the options and decipher the correct option in case of MCQ. Now we will come to the sensory organs. What are the sensory organs? Touch, sensory papillae, taste buds, smell, nasal epithelium, vision, eyes, and hearing, tympanum with internal ears. Here only eyes and internal ears are well organized structure and the rest are just cellular aggregations around nerve endings. Eyes are a pair of spherical structures situated in the orbit and skull. Eyes are simple and possessing only one unit. External ear is absent. Only tympanum can be seen externally. And ear is an organ of hearing as well as balancing, same like humans. So now we will be coming to the last part of the chapter, that is the reproductive system. Here first we are going through the female reproductive system, which includes a pair of ovaries situated near the kidneys, and there is no functional connection with the kidneys. See these green things, these are the ovaries situated in connection with kidneys, but there are no functional connections between kidney and ovaries. A pair of oviduct is arising from the ovaries. A pair of oviduct is arising from the ovaries, but see they are different from the ureters. These are the ureters. A mature female can lay 2,500 to 3,000 ova at a time. Fertilization is external and takes place in water. Development involves through a larval stage known as tadpole, and tadpole undergoes metamorphosis to form adult. So what are the points? Ovary is present in connection to kidneys also, although there are no functional connections. They give rise to the oviduct, which is different from that of the ureters. Fertilization is external, development is through tadpole, and tadpole undergoes metamorphosis to form adult. Now we will be coming to the male reproductive system. Male reproductive organ consists of a pair of yellowish ovoid testes. See here. Yellowish ovoid testes adhered to the upper part of the kidneys by a double fold of peritoneum called mesorchium. So both ovary and testes we can find are associated with the kidneys, and they are attached by double fold of peritoneum called mesorchium. Vasa efferentia are 10 to 12 in number that arises from the testis. This vasa efferentia actually arises from the testis. Enter the kidneys on their side and open to the Bidder's canal. Here they arise from the testis, enter the kidneys on their side and open into the Bidder's canal. Communicates with the urinogenital duct that comes out of the kidneys and opens into the cloaca. Because here we know there is no separate genital tract, unlike the female frog. Here there is only these ureters which are the urinogenital duct. So this vasa efferentia actually creates a link between the testis and the kidneys. So, and through that they communicate to the ureter, and which finally opens into the cloaca. Now, cloaca here is a small median chamber that is used to pass fecal matter, urine and sperms to the exterior. Okay. So, here cloaca basically is a multi-purpose organism which is used to pass fecal matter. We have also seen urinary bladder opening into cloaca. Now we are seeing that sperms are also passed to the exterior through the cloaca. So this is the end of today's chapter. This is the complete chapter of structural organization of animals. Please do let me know whether you like the videos through the comment section, and if you like the videos, please subscribe my channel and do like the video. Thank you.